Bobby Moore, in footballing terms, is a genius. The words are those of one of Britain's top managers, and he was referring not only to Bobby's defensive qualities, but also to his ability to detach himself from a game, observe, exploit, and correct on behalf of his team. Bobby's part in this big match is enormous, and he's our studio guest today. He will see, as you will see, an exhilarating attacking game. Geoff Hurst, with all his courage and his power, you can't help noticing him. And certainly the same goes for his England teammate, Martin Peters, drifting in as dangerously as ever he does. Peters, Hurst and Moore provide West Ham with class and invention the length of the field. This weekend, they're without the injured John Sissons. Trevor Hartley takes his place at number 11. But West Ham find themselves facing a Rangers team that refuses to be overshadowed. They'd surprised us by bringing in Ron Springett back into goal in place of Mike Kelly. But it says much for Rangers' performance that Ferguson in the other goal is kept just as busy as Springett. This is a Rangers team that today stands at the bottom of the First Division. Yet to watch them here suggests that they are skillful and determined enough to climb to safety in the critical months to come.
Stevenson to Moore, ever composed, and a good pass to Brooking. Hurst is racing on ahead. Here's Hurst. And now to Redknapp. Hurst! Closing in so very dangerously indeed to that short one to the near post from Redknapp. Good play by Redknapp and dangerous work by Hurst. Bobby Moore. And Bonds. And here's another one aimed at Hurst. And he's getting to it! Oh, again, so very close. And Springett was a little slow across his line to get that header from Geoff Hurst. But it was just a fraction wide. So in an inkling, we've seen the power of West Ham in attack. Stevenson. That's a clever, cool piece of play by Hazel. And not a bad ball, a very good one indeed to Bridges. And it's a goal! Hurst from Moore, looking ahead of him. Bobby Moore. Beautiful shot by Moore, just wide. Peters to Brooking. Now Bobby Moore. They've got to go for Moore soon. A shot, goal! By Moore! Certainly Hurst was being unfairly held by Hunt. There's Hurst. But it's a corner to West Ham. Brooking. And Peters! It's there! Brooking shielding that ball well from the challenge of Hunt. But a free kick to West Ham. Bobby Moore to take it. And Hurst waiting to sprint in there. Beautiful goal by Hurst. What a magnificent combination again by West Ham. The quickly taken free kick by Moore, low and to the near post. And Hurst was moving before Moore had taken the kick. Peters, oh, good play by Peters and good running by Moore. Redknapp outside him, this is Brooking, and Hurst completely unmarked. Oh, and he missed it. And he's as puzzled as we are, I'm quite sure. Geoff Hurst. Good challenging there by Bridges, and a good pass up the wing here for Wilkes. Morgan's waiting in the middle, as Morgan is also neat. A beautiful goal! There's Allen to Morgan. Morgan's playing well this afternoon, and here's a good position by Keane. He's got a shot, and he very nearly fooled Ferguson. Mike Keane. This game really is wide open now, because Rangers are so full of fight and so full of spirit, and this afternoon full of very promising football as well. It's a good shot by Keane, a magnificent goal by Keane, by Leach. Leach again. Well, I wonder what Ron Greenwood, the West Ham United manager, there he is on the right, sitting there, never shows his emotion, but he must be thinking all sorts of things at the moment, having seen his side give away a 2-goal lead. Hurst to Redknapp! Oh, what a goal! Oh, what a fantastic goal by Redknapp! Well, no goalkeeper on earth could stop that one. Well, you can walk 100 miles and see 100 games of football, and you never see a better goal than that one scored by Harry Redknapp.
And as the Sunday Express so aptly puts it this morning, Moore the mighty fires hammers. Here is Bobby Moore talking with Jimmy Hill.
Well, Bob, that was a wonderful match from West Ham's point of view, and also Queen's Park Rangers. The fans were delighted. But the big point afterwards, with 7 goals from one match in the First Division as against 9 from all the rest, can you afford to play attacking football?
Well, I think everybody likes to play attacking football, Jim. They set out to play attacking football, but naturally some teams, they have to smother attacking ideas, but as a game for watching yesterday was the ideal thing. Everybody enjoyed it, but I think everyone must give due credit to Queen's Park Rangers. They played with wonderful spirit, and from 3-1 down to 3-3, and nearly got a draw at the end. You know, yeah. Very well done to them.
Well, now, yours was a wonderful goal, superb, terrific shot, but on the other hand, I have a feeling also that Queen's Park Rangers helped you a little bit.
I think it could have been prevented by Queen's Park Rangers. You see John Charles cut out of the ball here. Martin Peters gets possession. There's a good build-up between Trevor Brooking and Trevor Hartley, and Trevor does very well. He brings the ball from a packed left wing right across to the right half position, and you see me with the ball here. No one's coming to me. I've got no alternative but to carry. In the end, I'm in a shooting position, and thank goodness the ball hits the net. It's on target. But I think if someone had come earlier to me, 10, 15 yards earlier, I'd have probably played the ball out wide to Harry Redknapp on the right wing.
But the last goal you deserved, I think, because you capitalised on everybody running to the near post for crosses to defend against them, and this was an unusual, an old-fashioned cross which Geoff Hurst put right over the top of everybody.
Well, I think here, Jimmy, that people are expecting West Ham to score so many goals at the near post now. Whenever we get build-ups like this, everybody tries to cut out the near post, and here you see Geoff, he cuts the ball right back to the far post, and Harry's completely free to, well, he hammered home a great shot, really. Fabulous goal.
You've probably noticed that Harry Redknapp started that move with the ball to Geoff Hurst and then made up a lot of ground to get it on the end.
I think Harry showed a great deal of determination. He started the move in midfield, gave the ball to Geoff, and as I say, must have covered 25 to 30 yards after playing the ball to Geoff to get to the back of the defence to put it in the net. Yeah. I think it was a wonderful goal, that fabulous goal.
Well, it was, and it just finished a marvellous game which had everybody who was there just on their toes from start to finish.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yes, indeed. It's action from White Hart Lane. Spurs against West Ham. 2 London sides, both struggling a bit now, but for different reasons. Spurs because they're badly hit by injury. And their team today is without 4 recognised first-team men, England and Collins among them in defence. It's a different story with West Ham. They claim that they're playing well without luck. Now they're without their number 5, Stevenson, and Bobby Moore takes his place.
Now Evans. Knowles. Evans again. Knowles. Once more to Evans. And Moore again in, but coming straight to Perryman. And now to Evans. Oh, a great save by Ferguson. And a very good shot by Evans. Peters, Brooking, Howe. Redknapp, Boyce inside him. Good neat build-up here by West Ham. Howe to curl one. Hurst to come towards it, take it on his body. Into the path of Peters. And there! And it's there by Peters. 11 minutes gone. And what a ragged goal it was, but it was a priceless one for West Ham. Peters, Hurst, Redknapp and Brooking all in the area, and plenty of white shirts to mark them. Peters going in, getting ahead to it, and Hurst also. Number 2 by Hurst. 2-0 to West Ham. And only 13 minutes gone. And there was always a suspicion in this Spurs side that there might be a lack of inches at the back without England and without Collins, and there most certainly it was proved. Mallory, Evans. Mallory again, Morgan, Greaves. Pearce playing a 1-2 with Greaves, Bonds coming in, Pearce, down he goes, and he's given a penalty. The referee has given a penalty for that foul on Jimmy Pearce. Get away, says referee Callaghan to Ronnie Boyce. And he's missed it! He's missed it! Well, he may well shake his head, because it isn't very often that Jimmy Greaves misses penalties, and he had Ferguson going the wrong way, and he couldn't have missed by a narrower margin than that, just clipping the outside edge of the post. Oh, Moore losing it to Pearce. Here's a chance, and a good save by Ferguson. Knowles. Greaves trying to get under it. Greaves! Oh, and still can't get it in. Bobby Moore claiming, I think, that Greaves was offside. Greaves a little chip. Moore going to flick it back to Perryman. And in goes Evans. And in goes Greaves against the post and behind. Well, the angle couldn't have been any sharper than that, and Greaves very nearly made the most of it. And after some of the misses this afternoon, he would have dearly loved to have seen that one go in. And I'm sure he wouldn't have been alone here at White Hart Lane this afternoon. Ferguson with the kick then. Funny old kick, but it finds Peters. Perryman, and now Greaves off again. He's shaken off Howe. A shot, just past.
So that's how it finished, 2-0 to West Ham, their first away win of the season, and really there wasn't a great deal of incident after that. Martin Peters did have his name taken for throwing the ball away after a free kick had been given. I gather, incidentally, that's the first time that Martin's had his name taken in 6 years. But of course, the thing that all Spurs supporters, I suppose, were going home last night saying, if only Jimmy Greaves had been in his old and greatest form, this is a match that we would have won instead of lost. Now, Jimmy, is this a view that you share?
Well, I think the crucial thing was missing that penalty, because Spurs battled on gamely all the match from 2-0 down. If that had been slotted home, they would have been 2-1 down, and I reckon they may have got the goal that they needed. And it was an extraordinary miss, because it's, as you will see here, it's only a fraction outside the post, and Jimmy sends Bobby Ferguson the wrong way and just gently glides that ball, supposedly for the far corner, and it shaves the post as it misses on the outside.
Let's look at West Ham now, Jimmy. They've been saying for so long that they've been playing well without any of the luck. In fact, the breaks began to go their way yesterday.
Yes, they started off very well. I thought we were going to have 10 goals from one team on the big match, the way they started. The first goal was a real beauty. They win possession here, and it's a perfect West Ham passing movement. There's Ronnie Boyce, who came in and had an excellent game, came back into the side yesterday and was a real driving force in the middle of the field. There's Howe, Brooking rather, slips it to Peters and gets the return. Laid back to him again, it is Howe. Pushes it out there to Harry Redknapp, who gets a touch. Lovely passing movement, very fluid, working their way up the right-hand side of the field. And here comes the cross, and you'll see Hurst now moving and showing that he can make goals for other people, laying it back beautifully. And as the shot comes, just watch where it goes, straight through the middle of Beale's legs, right through the centre there. And those of you that were blaming Jennings may realise why it was that he got no sight of that ball, and how it is that sometimes you can score goals with a miss-hit shot, really.
In fact, there were so many passes there, I think we'll have to come back to that at the end of the programme and get people to count the passes again. I'm sure it'll beat the record of 8, I think, we've had so far.
Yeah.
For our main match, we pick up that rousing derby game, West Ham against Chelsea.
Oh, good work by Bonetti.
Our studio guest today, and welcome to him, Keith Weller, Chelsea's new £100,000 man from Millwall. He'll be talking later in the programme to Jimmy Hill. But now let's get on with the action, first at Upton Park yesterday. West Ham against Chelsea, a derby game of high promise, and for West Ham skipper Bobby Moore, it's the end of another week with pressures bearing down on him from off the field. On the field, he's led his West Ham side superbly. This is the same West Ham side that has played in both matches so far. Chelsea have already moved very smartly into gear with 3 points out of 4, and they too feel an unchanged side. Paddy Mulligan still at number 2, keeping David Webb out of the side. Such an attractive looking side, the more so now that it includes Keith Weller in its attack.
Hudson. Osgood. Sweeping it nicely there for Ronnie Harris, the Chelsea skipper. Houseman with Hutchinson in the middle and Osgood in the middle as well. This is going to Osgood with a header! Just past. Hurst looking to get under it. Bobby Howe! Oh, there! By Bobby Howe on the volley! What a goal!
Well, a really spectacular goal, a perfectly placed corner from Clyde Best, and Bobby Howe comes running onto it and hits it probably as good a volley as we should see all season. Bonetti just gets his hand to it, but who can save a shot like that?
Number 10, Jimmy Greaves, right on that line. Plenty of Chelsea players surrounding him, though. Peter Bennett, who came up and scored, of course, an equaliser for West Ham last week. Best with the corner. Hurst trying to get underneath it. Hurst! And away for a corner. Hollins. Osgood. Beaten by Bennett, and well beaten. Greaves, the ball bouncing nicely for him. And Bobby Howe. Oh, good work by Bonetti. A really scintillating break there by West Ham, with Howe making the extra man on the outside, taking Greaves' pass to perfection. So Chelsea, who looked so bright and so busy in the opening 5 minutes, a goal down and under a fair bit of pressure as Greaves now takes it up again for West Ham. Still Greaves to Hurst. Oh, a goal! 2-0, Jeff Hurst.
Credit for making the opening here must go to Clyde Best. Look at that first-time ball, which leaves Greaves halfway through the Chelsea defence. He advances now on Ron Harris, number 3, knowing that Jeff Hurst is on his right. It's too much for Harris now to stop 2 men. A Greaves feint. Hurst is an open goal in front of him, and he puts it right into the corner. Bonetti has no chance whatsoever.
Really bright, warm sunshine now. Weller. And now Mulligan. Bennett. And Brooking. with a shot. Oh, just passed. Well, he was a striker for a long time here at West Ham, but he really has blossomed now as a man coming forward from midfield. Trevor Brooking. Lining up, looking for this goal kick. Hurst neatly headed inside there for Greaves, and Greaves through now to Best. Oh, and Best planting it straight. Oh, but the whistle had gone. The whistle had gone for offside, to the mystification of Clyde Best. Hinton to Osgood, faced by Moore. Osgood going on, flicking it nicely there for Hutchinson. Oh, tremendous goalkeeping by Grotier from Hutchinson. And a really tremendous piece of goalkeeping by this young fella, Peter Grotier. Now Osgood. And Hudson trying to shake off Bobby Moore. But now the ball with Weller. Hudson. Hutchinson and Osgood in the middle. It's Osgood going to try and get underneath this one, and does so, and it's there by Weller. By Weller. With 15 minutes of the second half gone, Keith Weller's first goal for his new club, Chelsea.
Well, in fact, it's Keith Weller who starts this move and then finishes it off. Here he is picking up the ball on the right wing, pops it out to Alan Hudson, and then goes rushing off through the middle. Howe's with him, and there's a bit of a tussle there, but just watch Peter Osgood's jump, a beautifully timed jump, cushions the ball off delicately there. Keith Weller comes flying in and gets it into the net by the end of his toenail.
To Hudson. Certainly Greaves has had a good lively game. He's been running well for West Ham, making himself available, but here's the trouble at the other end now as Osgood gets up well, and it's there by Weller, number 2. Keith Weller's second goal. And Chelsea's second goal. 2-2.
An almost identical goal to the last one. There's Hudson, slips the ball to Mulligan, moves across there as if to say, well, leave it to me, I know how it's done. There's the cross in the air, and watch Osgood's heading power again as he comes in here and beats Bonds this time, hangs in the air, lays off that ball, and Weller is stealing on the far post there as the ball goes through Bobby Moore's legs. And it's not too difficult a task to score from that position. And you can see how happy that makes the man, a brace of goals.
Houseman took that well, but he's got Bonds with him. And Bonds has given Houseman absolutely nothing this afternoon. Here's Billy Bonds again, setting up another West Ham attack. Jeff Hurst, first time in, aiming towards Clyde Best. And Bonds, just over that Chelsea bar.
Well, an honourable draw indeed. And the man who made it so, Keith Weller of Chelsea. And delighted to say that Keith is our studio guest today, with him, Jimmy Hill.
2-0 down, Keith, not a very encouraging prospect for Chelsea. Did you think you had any hope at that time?
Well, I thought we made a few chances in the first half, Jim, you know. Unfortunately, we never took them. But West Ham seemed to start a lot quicker than what we did.
Were you impressed with West Ham yesterday?
In the first half, I thought they played very well, yeah, especially midfield, you know.
Well, not only Keith had a splendid game yesterday, but there was a man who we mentioned last week. He's from Bermuda, he's 19, he's built like Goliath, tremendous physique, and he had another first-class game. It's Clyde Best, a really superbly promising game, which I think is going to mean a lot of things in the future for him. Here he picks up the ball on the right. Watch the acceleration here past Ronnie Harris. Ronnie Harris is no easy defender to get by. There's all that jostling, but he's got the guts to go on and hit that kind of shot.
Think that it was only this month last year that Clyde Best played his first game for West Ham. What a tremendous prospect. I suppose he's made more advance than any other player in the First Division over the last 12 months. And welcome with that great close-up look at West Ham and Manchester United, who played a match of classic proportions at Upton Park yesterday. A perfect start for the new year for all who were lucky enough to cram into the ground to see it. You'll see it now because that's our main match.
Taylor. Oh, straight to Dennis Law. Tommy Taylor's back pass, and it's across that goal.
But let's waste no time at all now in getting on with our main match, West Ham against Manchester United. A match described as exhilarating, wonderful, a great contest in this morning's newspapers. West Ham at full strength and with a growing confidence after their victory at Tottenham on Boxing Day, and looking for the right sort of performance to take to their League Cup semi-final against Stoke on Wednesday, in the right frame of mind to meet the league leaders. Manchester United now without centre-half Steve James. He's got a nasty face injury. Paul Edwards replaces him. Otherwise, it's that same menacing mixture from up north.
Best outside him and Brooking inside. And still Lampard goes on. A beautifully played ball there for Brooking. Turn back again. And now Redknapp. No! Stopped by Francis Burns. When Redknapp, it seemed, poised perhaps to score his first goal of the season. George Best. A flick there to Law. Brian Kidd. Best at the far side. Best for the header! And how did Ferguson get to that one? Clyde Best. Turned inside now for Brooking. McDowell. Past Bobby Charlton. Billy Bonds. Brooking right in there. Robson now, can he turn on it? Just past. And away goes Redknapp for the first time on this side of the field, getting it across well. Best, oh, and stopped again by Tony Dunn. What a marvellous game Tony Dunn's already having at full-back for Manchester United. Taylor. Oh, straight to Dennis Law. Tommy Taylor's back pass, and it's across that goal. And Taylor must be the most relieved man in this packed Upton Park. West Ham still having by far the better of it territorially, still not finding enough openings for their own liking. Hurst now finding Redknapp. Redknapp. Across that goal, no, can someone poke that? Robson, yes! Brian Robson has done it! He squirmed that through. A lot of credit to Harry Redknapp, though. Redknapp, who did a lot of good work, the number 7 on the right. And Brian Robson, who finally squeezed it past Alex Stepney to put West Ham United in the lead. Gowley. Charlton. In the last couple of minutes of the first half now, Bobby Charlton putting it across. Law is on the end of it, and he wasn't far away. Probably stubbing off the foot of that West Ham post. One of those jackknife headers by Dennis Law that makes him such a menace in the opponent's penalty areas. There's a lot of pace and a lot of guile about West Ham now when they begin to come forward, using the wings so very well. And here's Brooking again with another cross in. Hurst. And Edwards putting it as far as Robson, who hits one! Dipping and dipping just over that bar. Tommy Taylor. And away, Hurst off in chase again versus Edwards. Edwards for the moment lost it. Hurst back to Clyde Best to hit one and a goal! There was a deflection, but it's a goal and it must go to Clyde Best. So Alex Stepney picks it out of the back of the net. Going one way. Clyde Best really clouted that ball. There was a deflection and Stepney was beaten. McDowell there. Best sending him one way, then the other, and now Kidd hitting one wide. Well, he's disappointed, and I can tell you that George Best is absolutely furious with him. He felt that he should have made more of that chance than that. Bobby Charlton to Willie Morgan. Morgan now in that famous old position of his down the right wing. Crossed again there, Law, a tremendous jackknife. What a magnificent overhead kick by Denis Law. And that couldn't have been more than 6 inches over that West Ham bar. Generous applause all around for that typical piece of cheek and skill by Denis Law. Tony Dunn right up. Leaving it for Willie Morgan. Noticeable now that Morgan is deserting the midfield more and more to take up attacking positions. There's the ball to George Best. A back heeler there for Kidd. Over the bar again. And again Best is furious with Kidd. The virtuosity of this man Best has twice opened up the way for Brian Kidd in the last couple of minutes. And twice Brian Kidd has blasted wide. Bonds. To Taylor. Sadler away. Best. A back heel there for Bobby Charlton. And now Morgan. Kidd. Inside for Best again. He's turned Lampard one way and he's got the shot in. There really have been relatively few flashes of the genuine George Best this afternoon. That header early on, and the way he's turned the defence one way and then the other, once or twice in the second half. It's with McDowell. And that really was a nothing thing. But was that handball? It was handball by Gowling, and it's going to be a penalty for West Ham. Gowling complaining, but the referee having none of it. And I wonder where Geoff Hurst will place this one, remembering how his penalty was saved. His penalty was saved by Banks the last time here. And now it's Hurst against Alex Stepney. And he made no mistake. 3-0 to West Ham. Geoff Hurst the penalty. And poor Alex Stepney from behind his goal there. He hardly could move with it. Best. Robson didn't go for that one. It's about the only ball of the whole afternoon he didn't go for, and so Gowling managed to get possession, and now it's with Willie Morgan flitting past Lampard. A little chip again, but Robson there that time. And Law, oh, and a fine save by Ferguson. He really had no right to get across the goal as fast as that.
And indeed that should give West Ham every confidence for their League Cup semi-final playoff against Stoke on the Sheffield Wednesday ground on Wednesday. Really was a great advertisement for all that's at the very best in British football. Let's get underway, first of all, to Upton Park, giving you a new view of the ground from our camera perched high on the road outside Upton Park. It really is the most beautiful afternoon of October sunshine, with the pitch still a glorious shade of green. So, as the two captains meet, Bobby Moore of West Ham, Eddie Colquhoun of Sheffield United, West Ham come to this game with just one change in their side. And it's at full-back where John McDowell is restored to the side at number 2, with Clive Charles dropping down to substitute. Peter Grotier continuing in goal for Bobby Ferguson. As for Sheffield United, they have attacking problems. Already 3 men were out with injury. They were joined by Billy Durden on Friday, and his place goes at number 9 to the former Cardiff City player, Alan Warboys.
John Flynn. McDowell again for West Ham. Well, McDowell making very little of that, but he recovered well. And now Brooking turned off nicely for Moore. McDowell again. The little chip forward, he wanted Tyler to run for it. Curry. And now Bonds. And now Brooking. And now Tyler. Best again waiting in the middle for the header. And Robson was there too. Brooking is there! And Trevor Brooking! 1-0, 16 minutes. Tyler, who made it in the first place with a run, and a good cross that was knotted down, and finally came out for Brooking to make it 1-0. Robson. Tyler played first time and played brilliantly there for Brooking. Well, they talk about early balls and quickly played balls, and that was one played to perfection by this fella, Dudley Tyler, into the path of Brooking. Now Tyler then with the corner for West Ham. Another low one again. Bonds getting right down there, and Robson turning it in. Brian Robson, the second goal. The corner then from Tyler. Bonds getting down so low to knot it on, and Robson finishing it off. Best. Lampard. Holland. Lampard. Turned again towards Brooking and over the head of Hockey. And turned on by Robson. He hardly got a touch to it, but that touch was enough, putting West Ham 3-0 up. McAllister well beaten. The cross coming in from the left, and Robson really got no more than the slightest touch to it, but it was directed well enough wide of McAllister. So again from behind Grotier's goal, high in the air behind that stand, a free kick taken, and Warboys went in, and Taylor puts into his own goal. An own goal, stabbed in there by Tommy Taylor. Moore. West Ham's throw. Tyler trying to find Brooking. Did very well Brooking there. Moore turning it across. Robson, no. Robson and Best between them, no. Lampard going in, and he didn't even get a shot in. Taylor, and a whistle and a free kick. So Badger's all right again. Curry with the free kick. In fact, straight to Len Badger. Hit on the volley. And Woodward took that well, Alan Woodward. Still with Woodward. Will it open up for him yet? Trying to cross there. Oh, and not it over by Holmes, when, by all accounts and by any professional standards, it would have been easier for this young man to have knotted it into that West Ham goal.
So West Ham move up to 7th place, and after the match I spoke to skipper Bobby Moore and asked him how well he thought his team had played.
Well, naturally we were very pleased at half-time to be 3 goals in front, Brian, and naturally 2 points is very, very handy for us. We were delighted about that, but second half we was a little bit disappointed. I think the play became a little bit scrappy, and you know, everybody didn't lose interest but lost more confidence than anything. And as I say, you know, this is something that worried us a little bit, but I mean, still to win 3-1 is always a good thing.
Because you've had the right sort of headlines this season, West Ham coming back again. I mean, how does this side look with some of the great West Ham sides that you can remember, what, in something like 14 years you've been here now?
Well, I've had a fair run here, Brian. You know, naturally, the best sides are always the most successful sides, and from that point of view, I mean, in 1964, 65, 66 was probably our best periods at the club since I've been playing. But at the present stage, you know, we've had a side together now for 2 to 3 years. We've 1 or 2 new lads come in, you know, such as Tommy Taylor. Dudley Tyler's coming for the first time this season, and you know, they all seem to be falling in line together. So, you know, I hope sincerely that, you know, in the years to come, you know, the club's got a very good future.
Well, next it's Jimmy Hill, and I might as well steal his thunder by reminding you of something he said after we'd seen the West Ham-Manchester United game, remember, on the big match a few weeks back. He said that West Ham would take 9 out of their next 12 points, and with yesterday's win, that is exactly what they did. So, flushed with that success, what did Jimmy think about yesterday's game?
You've got to have a bit of luck sometime, haven't you, when you're forecasting. But yesterday's game was an interesting one for me because the real question that I wanted to ask was, could West Ham really do it and challenge for the Championship before the end of the season? They're 4 points behind Liverpool now, and I looked at that game with particular interest. I wasn't so much worried about the mistakes that they made in the second half because I think so much of that was due to the wind. The same wind that had won them the game by making Sheffield United defenders edgy in the first half. But what really worried me about the side was at times their players didn't all tackle their weight in the middle of the field. There was a time halfway through the second half where the game got a little bit rough and Trevor Hockey was putting the stick about, and at that time, if West Ham really want to win the Championship, I would have liked to have seen more aggression, more all-round aggression to win the ball. Once they win the ball, as we know, they can play delightful football.
And welcome again to the big match. Today we should be featuring West Ham against Manchester United, and what a cliffhanger that turned out to be. Two famous clubs in such trouble at the foot of the table. For West Ham there's more trouble. In addition to Bobby Moore, Brian Robson, John McDowell and Kevin Locke injured, comes news that Trevor Brooking and Bobby Gould are also out. So this West Ham side is the one that went out of the cup to Hereford, with Alan Wooler continuing at 6, Pat Holland 10 and Bertie Lutton 9. Manchester United, now that George Best is missing again and on the transfer list, this just about represents their strongest side.
Coleman with the free kick for West Ham. Hit lower this time. Lutton, a chance to chest it down across the goal. There was a deflection there too. And certainly the chances in this opening 5 minutes or so have gone Bertie Lutton's way. One or two little moments when the goal has opened up before him. Good long throw there by Padden. Holton was really stretching for that one. Best jumping well for it. Billy Bonds. Oh, a goal by Bonds and a beauty. What a superbly struck shot by Billy Bonds. As Best won it in the air, it came down for Bonds. Bang. West Ham with 2, 4, 6 men up in that area now, including Wooler, who didn't quite get a touch. There's Clive Best, hitting one through, and a fine save that time by Stepney. Best caught that well with a minimum of backlift, and a lovely flying save by Alex Stepney. Taylor's header, not quite directed the way he wanted it, but now Wooler. Oh, and here's a chance for McElroy. And it's a goal for Manchester United. Scored by the substitute, Sammy McElroy. The mistake coming in the first place by Wooler. The ball going straight to McElroy. And his shot, although Jay got a hand to it, in it goes, and that's 1-1. And it could still be 2-1. All saved on the line and kicked away that time by Tommy Taylor. As Greenoff went roaring in there, made a good connection. Somehow Day stopped it on the line and it was kicked away by Taylor. Again, there is Holton there, making life very awkward indeed for the young West Ham goalkeeper. Because with Best marking him, his own, not only Holton, but Best there right in front of Day. And here comes another corner, played in close once more, and that time a marvellous save by Dave from Macari. Well, Macari had always looked dangerous, and that was a superb close-range save by Mervyn Day. Taylor's gone up, with McElroy going back. The crowd are giving West Ham all they can. Bonds tries to get it, there's a header there, yes! The goal is given, and it goes to Pat Holland. West Ham in the lead again, with 7 minutes to go. The corner came over, Holland made the contact, and Best, who was on the goal line, ducked and put off everybody. Both linesmen have confirmed to the referee that in their book the time is up. Referee looking at his watch again. And West Ham have won by 2 goals to 1. Billy Bonds, the man who really deserves victory on this day, and the man who scored the first goal for West Ham.
Yes, what a finish it was. The West Ham manager, Ron Greenwood, said afterwards it really was a triumph for West Ham spirit. I'm not at all sure that he was entirely happy with the technical aspect of that game, but it really was a bit of a cliffhanger, Malcolm Allison.
Yes, I thought that it was a really entertaining game. You know, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure that everybody there enjoyed it. It was a very difficult place, very difficult pitch to play on. You know, it was very lumpy and bumpy, and probably never suited West Ham, but they battled away, and I thought that Billy Bonds was really tremendous yesterday.
Isn't that sort of spirit of Billy Bonds, is that infectious? Would that run right through the West Ham side yesterday, do you think?
Well, the way he played yesterday, it had to. And this does, definitely. I mean, when you get a player play like he did, you know, where he's determined, here he is now, you see him in the middle of the park. You watch it where he picks up and he really runs at the United defence, lays the ball out to the left-hand side there. And you see him get it back here again, look up again, then play another ball with his right foot. Very accurate ball in the box. And then this ball's knocked away again, and you see him up in the air competing again. He's had the ball 3 times in about 5 seconds. There's a situation here developing where the ball will be crossed into the box, and you'll see the excellent marking of Billy Bonds. There. Now, he's in the 6-yard box, and he's within a foot of ground. That's what they call marking. That's good marking. There's a throw in here, Padden. You see Padden pointing to Morgan. Morgan turns away to the referee, and Padden takes the throw. You see Holton here get up and knock the ball away. Doesn't really get it away. Knocks it up fairly high, and you see Best challenge for it. And there's Bonds again, number 4, waiting, and he really hits this with his left foot. But you see Houston turn his back, and you see Holton turn their backs on that ball, but it goes in the bottom corner of the net. That was a bad defensive play by Manchester United. Look at that enthusiasm, those West Ham players around Billy Bonds.
Just wonder how far that enthusiasm can take them. I mean, it obviously won them the game yesterday. An obvious question, Malcolm, and a quick answer. Relegation prospects for both West Ham and Manchester United now?
Well, I thought, looking at Manchester United yesterday, they might get out of it. But it's a tremendous battle for them. If West Ham get their players back in the next 3 or 4 days, you know, if they get 2 or 3 of their players back for the weekend, then I think that West Ham got a good chance of getting out.
Our studio guest today, and it's a warm welcome to Trevor Brooking, star of West Ham and England. First of all, though, let's go through to Upton Park, where a fortnight ago we saw their thrilling match against Middlesbrough. This one coming up beats that one out of sight. West Ham's opponents are Wolves, led out, as you saw, by Mike Bailey. West Ham a side that's developing into one of the most exciting in the land, and needless to say, another big crowd to watch their latest performance. First, let's catch up on the teams, though. West Ham still without John McDowell at number 2, so Keith Coleman stays in that position. Wolves badly hit by injury. Alan Sunderland broke his leg during the week. The latest casualty, the number 5, Frank Monroe, a groin injury, and Derek Jefferson comes in.
Free kick by Kevin Long. Hibbett. Oh, good running here by Hibbett, and a good pass now for Richards. Can he make something of this? And stop, kicked away there. First by Day and then by Taylor, and West Ham were in trouble. That's the second fierce breakout we've seen from Wolves. Richards was on it like a flash. Day, very leg conscious, did well to keep it out, and Taylor turned it behind. Keith Robson to Frank Lampard. Here's Padden, and there's the cross. It's a good one. Robson was almost in on that, and it wasn't far from being an own goal by Jefferson. A very good cross by Padden, and almost a replica in some ways of the way that Robson ghosted in for that goal against Middlesbrough a fortnight ago. But now will Padden take it quickly before Wolves can organise themselves? Billy Jennings there! Oh, it's saved on the line by Parkin, and Parks as goal went in. Coleman now look how Bookie's got in behind these defenders once again. Was that handball? It was a penalty. Handball by Hibbett. And a penalty to West Ham. That ball came in. I don't think there was any doubt at all that Hibbett handled it. It was a question of whether it was an intentional handball, and the referee decided that it was. And Mike Bailey is telling Hibbett that the ball should never have got that way in any case. And Billy Bonds now, with the penalty for West Ham against Phil Parks. An enormous goalkeeper who, to Bonds, must seem to fill that goal now. And Bonds has done it, 1-0 to West Ham. That'll come for Lampard, and Robson is imploring him for it as well here on the touchline. Keith Robson. Crossed in towards Bobby Gould. Now it'll come from Brooking, and a goal by Trevor Brooking. 2-0 to West Ham, underneath the goalkeeper. Bobby Gould, a big part in it. Determination unsettling the Wolves defence. It came to Brooking, not at the best of angles, but it went under Park's body, and that's 2-0 to West Ham. Richards. Now the game beginning to pick up with the sort of skill and style that we saw in the first half. Brooking. Lampard. And that's a free kick to West Ham. Now, it was from a similar position, just outside the area, that Padden scored that superb free kick a fortnight ago. Looks as though Brooking might play a short one instead. Bonds and Lampard are men who are wide of him. He's looked round to see whether Lampard can do it, yes! Lampard! A lovely goal. And the Wolves wall discussing just how they let it through. A little flick up by Brooking, and Lampard caught it on the half volley into the corner of the net. 3-0. Now Hibbett to Bailey. Played on again, Kendon's onside. Here's the chance now for Wolves. There's Richards, and there's the goal. A goal for Wolves. Made by Steve Kendon. Onside, said the linesman. And he found Richards with a lovely pass. And Richards' job really was a formality. Gone off the boil just for the moment, West Ham, but now can Brooking revive them. That looked like handball, a good decision by the referee. Brooking with a shot, a superb turn, and a goal by Billy Jennings. And West Ham are 4-1 ahead. Good finishing by Jennings, but it all started with an excellent refereeing decision by Harold Davey. Playing the advantage, Brooking took the advantage of a tremendous shot which Parks could only push out, and Jennings was there to finish it off. Padden now for Brooking. Gould in a lot of space over on this right touchline. Bonds coming in well to join up with the attack. Still with Billy Bonds, and now with Trevor Brooking. He tried to dash it through. Bobby Gould! Yes! Number 5, Bobby Gould against his own club. And a fella who worked so hard that you really can't deny him the goal he scored. There was a lucky deflection. Gould got on the end of it. So after that deflection, Gould got on the end of it, and that makes it 5 for West Ham. You know what he wants? He wants some more bubble songs. So it's Powell to Richards. Break by Barry Powell now through the middle, with Hibbett on the far side. Here's the cross again, and Kindon has made it 2 for Wolves. The long cross that time from Kenny Hibbett. And Kindon was in there to tuck it past Mervyn Day. West Ham 5, Wolves 2.
Yes, that was a brilliant game, one that really took your breath away, and I only hope that our welcome studio guest today, Trevor Brookings, got his breath back. Trevor, was there as much satisfaction in the West Ham dressing room yesterday as at any time this season, do you think?
Yes, I think so. I think it was an important win to get yesterday. We won 5-2, and the week before playing Liverpool, I think that was an important result. Obviously next week we'll go there full of confidence, and it puts us within 2 points of them, and it was just really the lift we needed.
Indeed, when you look at the Championship table now, it really is so tight at the top. West Ham in 7th place, but only 2 points behind the leaders, Ipswich. Championship contenders now?
I think if we're around about in the position that we are at present, shall we say in the new year, then I think we might have chances.
You see, a lot of people, I'm sure, the uncommitted will be delighted if West Ham could win the Championship this year because of their philosophy, the way they play and so on. But a lot of people also would be worried, saying, well, it might be a flash in the pan, we've seen it before. Can you sustain this, do you think, Trevor? Is there something about the club now?
Obviously, this is one factor we've got to work on in training to maintain our consistency. I think it was important 3 weeks ago we lost at Arsenal 3-0. We played badly. But since then we've come back, we've won our last 3 matches and played well. And I think possibly that might be an important factor that we've proved we can come back after a bad display.
See, a lot of clubs used to come to West Ham and say, it's nice to come here because they let us play. You're not letting other sides play as much now.
Now, I think we've worked on a little bit more aggression in training. We've worked on a man-to-man system in training, which I think has added aggression to people that perhaps before didn't have so much aggression in their play, and that seems to have worked well.
You seem to have settled nicely into midfield. That pleases you a bit more now, does it?
Yes, well, just after Christmas last season, because of circumstances, we had a couple of injuries in the strikers, and I was playing up front, and but we began picking up points, and obviously the team kept in that formation. But this season, with the arrival of Bill Jennings and Keith Robson, it's allowed me to drop back, and you know, I really enjoy playing there.
And now you're soon to join the England players again for this match against Portugal on Wednesday night. Hopeful of getting in?
Well, obviously I'm very keen to play, but it's one of those things you don't know, and, but I'll be keeping my fingers crossed and hope I'll be there.
There must be 1 or 2 other West Ham players who feel that they're in with a chance as well.
Yes, obviously at the moment Frank's playing ever so well at left back, and his goal must have helped yesterday. And obviously Billy Bonds has always been very close, and he keeps playing consistently each week, and it'd be nice to get some company along.
Trev, let's hope that Don Rivers is watching us this afternoon. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Cheers.
Thank you. We go across to Upton Park, where the team's already on the field for the First Division game between West Ham and Arsenal. Let's check on the 2 teams. West Ham without Billy Bonds and Trevor Brooking. Now with Keith Coleman filling the number 4 spot, Billy Jennings getting the number 10 shirt. Coleman will be playing at the back. McDowell will be playing in midfield.
Another free kick to West Ham. Not taken from exactly the right spot, but near enough, and obviously the spirit of the game, so Gordon Q saw, was that West Ham should reap some advantage from it, so he allowed it to be taken. Good to see. Robson. West Ham's throw. Kevin Locke to Keith Robson. Locke again. Hit in first time and hit in well. Billy Jennings right in there. Taylor there. Goal given. No, offside. Is it offside? No, it's a goal. Well, Pat Rice having a word with the linesman and the referee ordering him away. Alan Taylor, the scorer. The goal given, I'm bound to say, to me, he looks suspiciously offside. And it's something we'll have to look at much more closely as the ball came in, nodded down by Billy Jennings, and he'd already made his move then at Taylor and whacked it past Rimmer. Irving Day with the goal kick for West Ham. Keith Robson, Alan Taylor, good ball again. No word he's playing some balls, this Alan Taylor. Oh, and that was nearly a superb goal by Robson. Lovely ball played by Alan Taylor. Padden pouncing and hitting the early ball in low, and Robson made enormous ground to get there with a diving header that went wide. Dow, good throw. Robson, good backward header. Jennings trying to climb for it. Oh, and a good save there. And a very good one indeed by Rimmer from Billy Jennings. Jennings hit that one well. Rimmer couldn't have seen it till the very last, but still managed to get in the way again. Tommy Taylor to Keith Robson. Ball getting in there. Hasn't had quite the influence on this game, Alan Ball, that he had on last week's. And there's Armstrong with the ball played through, nicely weighted there for Frank Stapleton, and now for Brian Kidd. This looks better for Arsenal. Getting a good cross in as well. And Brady, oh, and a great save. Lovely move there by Arsenal. Kidd swinging that ball in from the right. And West Ham's defence was always under pressure as it finally came out from Brady, guided it, and a brilliant save by Day.
But of course, the major controversial point of the whole game was that West Ham winning goal scored by Alan Taylor. Why was that one allowed? Well, as Kevin Locke crosses it, and Billy Jennings rises so superbly in that Arsenal penalty area, watch Alan Taylor. Clearly there, it seems, in an offside position, and it would seem that Arsenal's protests were justified. Taylor is becoming so familiar now for West Ham fans, cracking that past Jimmy Rimmer for a goal that proved to be the winner. But as we look at it again from another angle, let's look at something else now. As Keith Robson plays that ball for Kevin Locke, I want you to watch this time the referee, and I'm wondering if there was a suspicion of doubt in his mind about Alan Taylor being in an offside position, because as Billy Jennings rises here, even before the ball is in the net, watch the referee now. It seems to me that the whistle is in his mouth, as though he suspects that there is something wrong with it, but the goal was given, and I think it's worth looking yet again from that same angle behind the goal, because I think you can find something else that might suggest that after all it could have been a valid goal. And it is, as Kevin Locke crosses the ball, whether or not George Armstrong, who is challenging him, puts everybody else onside. Here we come now. Here's Kevin Locke about to cross the ball. Watch George Armstrong challenging him now, and I'm wondering if the momentum of George Armstrong there takes him near enough to the byline to suggest that even though the ball comes into the centre here and Billy Jennings, as we've seen before, heads it on, whether Armstrong is perhaps near enough that byline to have played Alan Taylor onside. That's the only clue that I can think, and I'm not at all sure that it will entirely satisfy the Arsenal fans, but I think that that might suggest that the goal was a valid one. I'm quite sure that Alan Ball and company would disagree with that. So a lot of great action today and great goals to go with it too. And we start at Upton Park, the home of West Ham, for their match against in-form Everton. The West Ham team strengthened by the return of the former Arsenal striker John Radford to their attack. He's missed a couple of games with a back injury. It's good to see him back at a time when West Ham now reach the critical period of their fight against relegation, even though Radford has yet to score for his new club. His experience and strength in the air could be vital. As for Everton, manager Gordon Lee has dropped Duncan McKenzie and Andy King, and Bruce Rioch is injured, but one player given his first chance for 3 months or so is George Telfer at number 10, with Brian Hamilton at 7 and Terry Darracott now at number 6.
Jennings making a good run away from his marker, Mike Lyons. Devonshire. Oh, he didn't quite clear Latchford. And now a good run now for Goodlass. Oh, when he's seen. Oh, and he's a goal! What brilliant thinking there by Ronnie Goodlass. One out of the blue and showed that the fella was thinking all the time. It was Latchford who put him on. He stopped and looked up, saw Mervyn Day was a good 7 yards off his line, and from 40 yards lobbed it over his head. It's Pejic this time. Here's Devonshire again, having a lively opening quarter of an hour. Brooking. Played nicely there for Jennings. Radford's right in there. Jennings hopeful of getting in there. Devonshire's in there too. Jennings turning it in. Oh, across the face of that Everton goal, so close to being the equaliser. West Ham pouncing on everything that's loose, and here's Billy Bonds. Radford playing it in for Robson now. No, kicked away there by Pejic. West Ham showing a lot of spirit in spite of that early setback. Bonds right in there. And when the ball finally came through to Brian Robson, kicked off the line. Lock. Too high for Brooking. Bonds. Robson. Brooking. Another good cross by him. And a penalty given. Well, Radford bundled in the back there. The long cross that came over from Trevor Brooking. Radford bundled to the ground, and the referee, without hesitation, pointing to the penalty spot. So Robson, a man with a heavy responsibility, here he goes, and he's got it. 1-1. Robson. You can just see there again just how many yellow shirts are back in these situations. Look at them all there, in and around that Everton penalty area. Pushed away, Lampard's long shot by Lawson, by Lampard, pushed away there by Lawson. Almost a repeat in a funny sort of way of Goodlass's goal. And Lawson just getting there in the end. Hamilton, oh, Pearson, got beyond Locke. And a goal for Everton, scored by Pearson. Well, another shattering blow for West Ham. They've been pushing forward, having so much of the game. And Everton have done them on the break again. Pearson getting in behind Kevin Locke, taking it to the right of the goal and beating Day with a really powerful low shot. Here's Locke. Brooking. Crossed in once more towards Radford again. McNaught is there. On to Lukowski. You saw the message yourself a bit earlier by John Lyall saying get forward. Robson turning it on now for Jennings. Crossed in again there for Robson. 2-2. Second goal, and what a welcome one for West Ham with 7 minutes left. Taylor playing his part, going up that left touchline, and when the ball came in for Brian Robson, a flick of the neck muscles, and it was past David Lawson for West Ham's second goal. Robson in quickly. Brooking versus Dobson, and Brooking winning it. Narrowcott shadowing him, so too is McNaught. Brooking's on his way. On supporting him. And West Ham get another corner. Well, as I say again, can they see something in the seconds that remain? Billy Bonds hitting it in low. Devonshire, oh, just over.
Yes, I thought that was a good performance by West Ham and worth at least the point they got. I was a little surprised to read Duncan McKenzie in this morning's News of the World saying I wouldn't put any of my money on West Ham or Spurs staying in the First Division. They haven't the character to battle out the trouble. I would have thought character was one thing that West Ham showed a lot of yesterday. They came back twice from being a goal behind and they showed enormous determination to break down that wall of yellow Everton shirts, 8, 9 and 10 back in defence sometimes even 11. And they got behind them well on 1 or 2 occasions. But just count the yellow shirts here as Billy Bonds tries to hit this high ball in. 1 fella facing him, count those yellow shirts. 2 there, that fella just by the penalty area. 3, 4, 5, 6, the goalkeeper 7, 8, 9, and as the picture comes away to the left, 1 with his hands on his knees, 10 Everton men back in defence, and that's what West Ham faced. They had 80% of the game, and it was a tremendous job breaking it down. They broke it down 7 minutes from the end. A good throw out by Mervyn Day to Tommy Taylor. He'd been pushed forward, as you know, by John Lyle, and he seeks Brian Robson with a nice little pass, pushed forward there. What a nice touch by Robson too. A lot of people may have expected an early ball to come in there from Billy Jennings, but he decided he was going to beat David Jones, chipped it in very accurately, and what about that for a well-guided header? All those Everton defenders beaten at last over the head of David Lawson, and that made it 2-2. We spotted a nice little thing, in fact, as they came back to celebrate, that Jim Pearson, who'd earlier scored for Everton, the Everton player on the far side there, just comes up to Brian Robson. Well done. And that was very nice to see. Your heart goes out to people when they do that sort of thing in the heat of that particular moment.
Oh, and Pearson put through by Greenough. Jones is after him. Pearson shot, goal!
Important relegation action from West Ham, needing every point they can get, now facing Derby County.
Such a critical afternoon then for this West Ham team, led out today by Frank Lampard because Billy Bonds twisted an ankle in training on Wednesday and is unfit. And pitched into the crisis is Alvin Martin, 18 years old from Liverpool, who made his first full appearance last week in the victory at Leeds and scored. This then is the West Ham side with Devonshire, Pike, Hales, Alan Taylor and Jennings, as well as Bonds, all missing, but with David Cross returning to the attack after suspension and Lampard himself returning after missing the game at Leeds. They face a Derby County side that has Scotland captain Bruce Rioch back after injury, and he's likely to be joined in the midfield by defender David Nish. So many injury problems he's had this season. Indeed, he's making his second comeback of the season. Tommy Taylor with the throw. Trevor Brooking now. Crossed in, could be interesting towards David Cross, and fisted away by Middleton, not very far. Powell losing out on it. Claims for a handball there. They crossed it in, and it's there by Robson. A goal for West Ham, 4.5 minutes gone. Exactly the start West Ham wanted to cool their nerves. They claimed there was handball inside the box on the far side. The referee waved it on. The cross came in while Derby maybe was still waiting, and Brian Robson was in there to head it beyond Middleton. Holland for Brooking. On for Holland again. faced McFarland. A little bit of acceleration. What a good cross again. Cross going in there over the top. Langham just getting it enough to put him off. But that's not the first time that Holland has shown wonderful acceleration down that right touchline. Beating McFarland there, swinging in the high cross, looking for David Cross over the top. Bill Green and Charlie George underneath one. It's Green to Kerbishley to Lampard. Holland again. Buckley staying very close. And Holland, well, Rioch was there to support him, but West Ham getting possession. Robson for Brooking. Tommy Taylor scorching down that left flank. What a good run by Taylor, but the flag is up for offside. It will not count. But nonetheless, a remarkable run out of defence by Tommy Taylor. And as the ball was played through there, it nicked, I thought, off a Derby player, but the linesman was already flagging, and Tommy Taylor, although he put it past Middleton, was offside. Nish. Bill Green up well, Kerbishley helping it. Good piece of play, good teamwork again by West Ham. Lampard. Cross has found a yard or two beyond McFarland. Now can Holland get in there again? Played back for Cross. And a goal by David Cross, 2-0 for West Ham. 22 and a half minutes gone. Pat Holland, the architect again, why he really should smile, and so should David Cross. Holland it was down the right. It came across, and David Cross showed great presence of mind. He held it for a moment, saw the gap, put it wide of Middleton's right hand, and West Ham are 2 into the lead. Lampard. Cross, beating McFarland. Holland getting in there, brought down, penalty! Holland has lost his boot, in fact. Well, he may have lost that boot, but he's won a penalty. As he went, no, it's not a penalty. Well, blow me, that's a foot outside the box. It looked to me as though it was inside, and so it's not a penalty. Now, will he try anything different this time? Kerbishley is still away to his left in a bit of space. Lampard coming in this time, curling it in well, and the header from Bill Green was screwed wide. Oh, bit of space there for Langan. Will he make good use of it? Played back for Masson, hit straight at Lampard. Now Buckley. Now Rioch. First up, nice cross coming in. Martin not getting it, a chance for Nish to line up a shot into the side netting. Brooking, crossed in just by the byline. David Cross on the far side, heading it back again. Oh, good heavens above, how did that fail to go in? Colin Todd completely missing his kick on the line. Brooking, as if by magic, getting that ball over before it crossed the byline. Cross at the far post, heading it back again, and just look how close as Todd misses his kick. McFarland, Brooking crashed through him there well. A little pass inside for Robson, hit first time! Number 3. That might just about make it safe, completely so for West Ham. The mistake, though, was by Roy McFarland. And once McFarland had made that mistake, Brooking was onto it. A delightful little pass there for Robson. And Robson finished it off. Lukowski, he's been on about 5 minutes now, the sub, with his socks already down. Just outside that Derby penalty area. As Tommy Taylor hits that corner low. Oh, and a brilliant save by Middleton from Martin. Well, young Alvin Martin, who scored at Leeds last week, must have thought he was on the score sheet again. Taylor's corner hit in low. Martin got a good, powerful header in, and a lovely piece of goalkeeping by Middleton. Rioch. Will it be a last blast for Derby? Buckley with the cross, Ferguson with the catch, the referee with the whistle, and West Ham with 2 points.
Yes, indeed. Will West Ham escape yet again? The signs indeed are looking healthier, even though I think it's not easy to assess their current form against a Derby County side that frankly really had an end-of-season look about it. Indeed, the Derby manager, Tommy Docherty, said this afterwards. It was good to see someone like Brian Robson running about with a lot of enthusiasm and wanting to play. Several of my players should have taken a lesson from him. But I have a simple remedy for it all. I will just drop them from the next game. But 2 things I think we ought to clear up before we move on. First, that penalty that I thought should have been given to West Ham just before half-time when Pat Holland was brought down by Steve Buckley. With slow motion, I must now apologise to referee Tom Reynolds, who had a very good match, and really this was a brilliant decision by him. Pat Holland, number 8, coming in. Steve Buckley, the Derby, number 3. Now, where was the first contact? I thought inside the box, but as you can see there, fractionally outside. A really excellent decision there by referee Tom Reynolds. The referee right and the commentator wrong. But what of Trevor Brooking's chances of being fit for England's match against Brazil on Wednesday? He confirmed for us today that he has a slight groin injury. I'll have treatment, he said, and then I'll join the England party later today, but I am doubtful for the game. It's action from the second division game between West Ham and Newcastle. West Ham lying 5th in the table at the start of the day, but only 2 points gathered in from the last 6. Newcastle have slipped to 15th. So here we go then. If you've ever dreamt of leading out a professional team, here's a Billy Bonds' eye view of it as he led West Ham out yesterday. Down that corridor, there's the crowd as they go out onto the pitch.
Here's how West Ham line up today then, with an unchanged side. The bulk of the goal scoring, of course, has come from Brian Robson with 22 and David Cross with 17. But once again, West Ham will be looking for control in the midfield from Trevor Brooking and Alan Devonshire in particular. Jeff Pike is their substitute today. Meanwhile, Newcastle's season, well, it's almost collapsed in ruin. They were lying 6th in December with an eye to promotion, but now they've slipped to 15th, having lost 5 of their last 6 games. Another throw for West Ham. And in fact, it's Devonshire there by the byline, the cross coming in, and they had a lot of trouble getting that away, and Bonds turning it back in there. Hardwick with a save, but the flag was up for offside, and the referee in fact is ignoring that. It was a good, well-struck shot by Billy Bonds there through a crowd of players, but Devonshire starting it well there, headed away to Billy Bonds, and when he cracked it there, he held it well, the keeper. And a chance for Hibbett and Martin also behind there to see whether they can pierce this West Ham wall. In fact, it's Hibbett, a tremendous shot. Oh, and a body beautifully behind him from Phil Parks. What a beautifully struck ball, though, by Hibbett. As Martin runs over it, whack. Caught beautifully by the man who took it and by the man who caught it as well. Now it's McDowell for West Ham. Now to go a long way, can he do something with it? Well, here's Devonshire quickly on that one. Devonshire all the way through, and a goal! Beautifully placed. West Ham's goal with 20 minutes gone. A superb piece of cool thinking by Alan Devonshire, and the joy that says it all. From Billy Bonds there as well, although it seemed to come a little luckily his way in the first place, he really took command there. And then his brain worked for him there as he slid it inch perfect inside the far post. As it is at the moment, Brownlee bringing it forward for Newcastle. Cut out by Brush. Played on again by Robson for Brooking. Brooking playing it in for Robson. Oh, my word, a beautiful goal. Robson against his old club, but a goal of classic proportions. Here's the man who made it with that beautiful move inside, and how Brian Robson clouts it into the roof of that Newcastle net. 2 goals in 2 minutes, and West Ham are in the clear. Good, skillful play that by West Ham. Nice, simple passing, accurate as well. Brooking. It's a good cross too. Fisted away though. Lampard turning it back, deflected in. Lampard will claim it, number 3. And Hardwick, no chance at all with that. Brooking's cross coming in, and in fact the keeper fisting it away there, only as far as Lampard. And yes, quite a deflection, I think probably off Peter With. Brush with the header. Cross trying to get in there. Nicely touched by Cross there for Brooking. And Holland battling away there. Brooking with the header again, skillfully played for Holland. Robson's right in there, Holland's going on. Forced a little wider than he wanted to go. Brush coming up in support of him. And McDowell in there, number 4. Well, the goals are here for the taking this afternoon, and McDowell took that one superbly to the delight of the young West Ham fans. In fact, Holland had been pushed a little wider than I thought he wanted to be, but just look how unmarked McDowell as he comes in, and his aim was sure just inside the post. Agony again on the face of the keeper. And Cross couldn't get there. Robson into the side netting. Well, there was enough venom about West Ham there. With McDowell taking that free kick there, curling away from the keeper all the time. Cross couldn't quite get the touch that mattered. Robson did, but couldn't make it count into the side net. Jeff Pike with it. Devonshire. Pike again. A little fall for McDowell. Hit well. Oh, a beautiful goal by McDowell. Well, that really is getting a goal out of nothing. Number 5 and the second for John McDowell. All this season he hasn't scored for the first team, and now 2 in this one game, and the 5th for West Ham. Look how he takes it. There's hardly a chance here, and on the half volley, whack with the left foot, and just creeping in off the post. Walker with the corner. Lampard's header. And Devonshire helping it on to Holland. Alan Devonshire again. Cross has gone forward. Bonds has made a really surging run. Onside for Pat Holland. Bonds waiting in the middle. Oh, and he missed. But what a goal that would have been. And how a man who's run 50 yards in the way that Billy Bonds did, how he deserved it. The look of disappointment there. The crowd are applauding, and a word, at least a sign for Holland to say thank you for that cross. What a break by Billy Bonds. And here's Holland in the clear, onside. He played it in early, and Bonds was right there. What a goal that would have been. Holland with it. Brownlee at the near post. Towards Alvin Martin, and Robson's header! No, disallowed offside. The cheers turned very quickly to groans on the appearance of the red flag there. And it came in there, nodded on, and Robson was there. It was Martin, I think, who nodded it on. Robson was in there, close in, and the goal ruled out.
Well, an important win for West Ham, and indeed the only blot on the day for them was that injury to Trevor Brooking. Well, that's not the happy sight for West Ham fans, with Trevor Brooking's right foot with a gym shoe on, and also with the sticks there as well, and an ankle that's very heavily strapped. What is the latest news on it, though, Trevor?
Well, I just went right over on it, Brian. It's come up a bit, so they've strapped it up, and they've given me these just to keep the weight off it. Yes. And I'll go in and see a physio.
What's your feeling? How serious? I mean, you've had 1 or 2 ankle problems before.
Yeah, funnily enough, it's the other ankle this time. Yeah, just around it off. I had a left ankle, and then yeah, that's been fine, and then I had flu. And so they say things come in threes, and that's just about rounded it off, I think.
The Newcastle manager, Bill McGarry's, had to reshape his whole side this season, but he told me he also saw a change of another sort in West Ham.
Well, I said beginning of the season when they came to our place, they're a good side because they've got some good young kids coming through, and they had the experience of being in the First Division last year, and I think they've benefited from that. And I think they're a good side, and he's bought a goalkeeper now, which they were always short of anyway, we all know that. But they are more determined, and these three midfield players, plus the centre-half did quite well, I thought, but they're shutting people down. They don't give you time to play. At one time, you had plenty of time to play against West Ham, and at times, you know, you sat in the stand, people like myself, oh, well, I could play against them. But now it's a different kettle of fish. They're shutting people down, and I think they're a fair side, and I think they're the best side we've played.
So there's plenty of red-hot action for you, and I can tell you plenty of drama to go with it as well. But I think we ought to start on a note of celebration as we go across to Upton Park for West Ham against Queen's Park Rangers, with the West Ham manager John Lyall receiving a gallon bottle of whiskey after being named Bell's Manager of the Month for January in the Second Division. But something else had been on John's mind for the last couple of days.
Well, the pitch has been a worry for West Ham all week after so much heavy rain, but a good drying day today and 24 hours without rain. Well, it's looking a lot better than most people had feared. It's going to cut up quite obviously. It's going to be heavy. It'll be quite a slog out there for the 22 players. But rarely has a second division game offered us quite so many angles as this one. There's Paul Allen, that busy little West Ham midfield player, now opposed by his cousin Clive Allen, Queen's Park Rangers' leading scorer with 22 goals this season, including 2 against West Ham in September when Rangers won 3-0. There's Trevor Brooking of West Ham, and what a battle in midfield there's going to be against Tony Curry of Queen's Park Rangers, 2 England men with so much skill at their command. And a day when Phil Parkes, in the West Ham goal, for so long the cornerstone of the Queen's Park Rangers defence, now faces his old teammates. But here is Devonshire. A good advantage played there as it comes to Brooking. Oh, my word, across the face of that goal and just behind. And really all credit there to the referee, Brian Hill. That was a very good advantage he played. And it was West Ham's Trevor Brooking letting fly with the left foot wide of the post. In turn, finding Roeder. Allen. Roeder. Goddard's up through the middle. Here's Allen again. Onto the left foot and deflected and into the net. Well, Clive Allen was the man who shot. Whether that deflected off Goddard, it certainly beat Phil Parkes and went into the back of the net. Tommy Docherty with plenty to say for himself, and indeed should be fairly happy with his team a goal up. Ken Shellito, the former Chelsea manager, now working with Tommy, doing the pointing. But it's Devonshire now to Pike. Played in again there towards Brooking, and Pearson! 1-1. Well, plenty of joy there, and indeed Jeff Pike, such a good all-round player in this club, playing that ball in quickly, and it eventually fell through there for Pearson just to give it the nudge, and into the back of the net. West Ham 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. That's a nice touch by Devonshire. Paul Allen. Didn't give Lampard another chance. Oh, against the post there by Pearson. How unlucky. And what a goal that would have been. whistle gone for a free kick to West Ham. Well, how unlucky West Ham were, because it was a ball played quickly by Lampard, and Pearson hit it first time, but against the crossbar. Devonshire's throw. Brooking. Well, that was terrific by Brooking. Oh, and Cross. Oh, my goodness, he still didn't get it onto the line. Oh. Well, you'll never get closer to actually putting the ball over the line without doing it. What great work by Brooking, though. Really battling there, get his cross in well. And Cross just couldn't get that touch. Cross guiding a nice little header there for Paul Allen. Devonshire played on first time and accurately there for David Cross. Played into the middle there. And it's an own goal. Bob Hazel's own goal. And West Ham are in the lead. That's a nice touch there, though, for Steve Wicks. Putting his arm round the unhappy Bob Hazel. He's just been booked. And when that cross came floating in, Hazel met it as a forward should meet it. And sadly for him, it went past Chris Woods into the net. West Ham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Yes, a really enjoyable game, unless your name happens to be Bob Hazel, the big Rangers defender who's just back from suspension, got that yellow card in the game, and of course it was his own goal that provided West Ham with their winner. But let's take the yellow card incident first.
To be truthful, I thought it was very harsh that I got it there because for the whole game, I think that was about the only real foul that I did, and it wasn't a bad foul. And before that, I just got flattened twice early, and the referee hadn't given anything, you know. And he gave it against me, and I'd say I felt really sick about it.
Yes. Is that what you were trying to tell him?
Yeah, that is it. I was trying to show him that, you know. I asked him if I was a marked man, to be truthful, you know.
It was also good, of course, to see the young Allen boys in action. Cousins Clive of Queen's Park Rangers and Paul of West Ham. And maybe Clive can clear up the mystery of that Queen's Park Rangers goal. Tell me about the goal, the Queen's Park Rangers goal. I mean, it was your shot, and I'm just wondering who's going to claim that one.
I think Paul's claimed it. He did touch it on the way through, and that made the deflection sent Phil the wrong way, so I think it'll be Paul's goal, yeah.
Yes. But then it was a good fight back by West Ham, wasn't it, after that,
it was,
Paul?
Yeah. It's 1-0 down. Thought we would be struggling then, but we didn't. So.
But you couldn't have banked on an own goal, could you?
No. Surprised to see that one going.
Yes. Tell me, when did you last play against Clive?
When I was about 9 or 10 was the last time.
Really? Can you remember what teams they were for?
Yeah, I played for Barrett's and Clive played for County Park.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, I remember that.
Can you remember the score?
I think we won about 5-2 that day.
Yeah, they won that day, yeah.
But there's no doubt about it, it was a good day for West Ham, now lying 7th in the table, and as you can see from the caption there, with games in hand. In fact, they've got 3 games in hand on the leaders, Leicester City, and they're only 5 points behind. They're still well on course to be battling away at the top of the table in the last part of the season, but as you can see, they do need to win those games in hand. And I suggested to the manager, John Lyle, that they had a pretty tough last part of the season to come.
Yeah, certainly. I think if you look at the fixtures of the other clubs, they're all involved as well. So we're all playing each other. Probably for me, the most important thing will be if you lose one, how quickly you bounce back. I think the important thing is not just to see that you don't lose, but to make sure you don't lose 2, because if you lose a couple of games, you'll have problems. But like everyone else involved, I feel that the whole thing will go right to the bitter end, and I think it may be an injury that affects you, it may be a ball hitting the post and coming out rather than going in. All sorts of things can happen, and you've just got to look at it week by week, which we're doing.
a skillful and exciting battle as West Ham faced Bolton Wanderers in our main match.
Holland supporting him well. Goddard getting it back to Holland. Played it first time! Oh, my goodness!
All right, let's make a start with West Ham against Bolton Wanderers. And for West Ham, the season really has started to blossom. Well up towards the top of the second division, still in the League Cup, and fresh from a stirring 4-0 victory last Wednesday in the European Cup Winners' Cup. It was certainly no hardship going to Upton Park today with its old-time friendly atmosphere.
Well, it's a good week to be coming to West Ham. The crowd are singing their famous bubble song, and indeed, it's a buoyant and bubbling crowd here today after that European victory in midweek over the Romanians, and there is good cause for optimism about the place. And indeed, what a reception then as the West Ham team come out. So the West Ham team today, they're without fullback Frank Lampard, who's injured. Paul Brush takes his place, and Paul Allen, recovered from a groin injury, is the sub. Still no Trevor Brooking, and West Ham expect it'll be at least another fortnight before he's fit again. Meanwhile, Bolton Wanderers, who also had a win in midweek against Preston, they field an unchanged side, and it's got plenty of experience to it. Brian Kidd and Alan Gowling in particular, and Len Cantello as well, and he passed a test on an ankle injury this morning. Good control there. Holland supporting him well. Goddard getting it back to Holland. Played it first time! Oh my goodness! What a lovely move, and in point of fact, Cross was right in there, and Jones was so close to putting it into his own net, but what a beautiful 1-2 here. Goddard on for Holland and played in first time quickly, and Jones so near to putting it into his own goal. And Devonshire again with the corner. Billy Bonds played wide again for Devonshire. Crossed in once more. And now his neighbour lining this one up. But Cross, in fact, it hit David Cross. Martin. Bolton almost in a state of siege in their own penalty area. And still they can't get it away. Martin doing his best to get the cross in again. And Cantello, in the end, forced him into the corner. Spell for West Ham, but still no goals with about 18 minutes gone. Jimmy Neighbour with the corner for them. Brush nodding it on. Devonshire. And now Cross. Charge down again. Here's Cantello. And in the end, I think they're quite grateful to get that back into the arms of Terry Poole. Reed, beaten for the challenge there. Neighbour thought about the pass to Cross, but he was offside. And a save by Poole, putting it behind for the corner. And West Ham are absolutely rampant, and Bolton at the moment are staggering, being pinned back the whole time. Good save there by Terry Poole. Pike, Dowling thought about coming, but felt that Devonshire was lurking there, and Devonshire's got inside them. And again it's saved. Devonshire made tremendous strides there, but again Terry Poole was equal to it. Devonshire inside this time for Brush. Another good spell by West Ham. And Gowling going back there to try and stop him, but West Ham get the corner off Mike Graham. So Devonshire again with the corner for West Ham. Deeper one this time. This man here, Mike Graham, or rather Mike Walsh. What a most amazing goal. And let's see if we can fathom it out now. The number 6, Mike Graham, Mike Walsh is the man to watch. And there it is, going into the net, off the post. And here's Kidd, beaten by Alvin Martin. Little touch through there for Pike, but he was challenged from behind by Graham. Devonshire. Got Goddard up, he's got Cross up, and he's got Neighbour away on his right. Neighbour flicking it in for Pike. Oh, tremendous goal by Pike!
he's entitled to be exhilarated by that one. He's hit some spanking shots this season, and he hit one, in fact, that led to a goal against the Romanians on Wednesday night. That was a goal out of the top draw. Neighbour playing it in, Pike at full belt, Poole at full stretch. Attacking position there once again as Devonshire takes the corner again for West Ham. Aimed towards Alvin Martin, and in fact it might be David Cross, just wide of the post. In fact, Alan Gowling claiming an offside there. So he might well have been, in fact. Corner already taken as Graham knocks it in there. It was Pat Holland who got his head to that one. Cross trying to do the same. Peter Reid going right in there. Playing it wide there for Neil Watmore. Great save. Reid, another good save. Well, a double-barreled shotgun effort there from Bolton Wanderers, first from Watmore and then from Reid, and on both occasions Phil Parkes kept his goal intact. Not conceded a goal in 5 games, but this looked as though it might be the moment. Superb save there, and when Peter Reid puts it back again, Phil Parkes is equal to it again. And Cantello again with this corner. Oh, he didn't really get that one, and it's been put into the back of the net by Kidd for Bolton Wanderers. Well, it's taken a long time for West Ham to concede a goal. Previously it had been 5 games without conceding one, and now Kidd has done the trick that others couldn't do. Here we are.
No doubt about it, another enjoyable game, and it's worth saying what a good advertisement it was, not only for the second division, but for the game as a whole. The Bolton manager, Stan Anderson, paid tribute to West Ham. They look such a confident side, he said, and we didn't. And the referee, Alf Gray, weighed in by saying what a pleasure it was to be in charge. He said, incidentally, that the first foul in the game didn't actually happen until after 16 minutes. That's quite amazing. One other statistic you might be interested in, there were 30 corners in the game. That's unusual, to say the least. 22 to West Ham and 8 to Bolton, further evidence of West Ham's dominance. Even so, West Ham were annoyed, or at least their goalkeeper Phil Parkes was, by the goal that broke their record of clean sheets. Phil thought he was fouled as this corner came in, but my feeling is the referee was right, that Phil didn't jump with his usual conviction. It looks a very good clean jump there by Paul Jones, the Bolton defender, and Brian Kidd joyfully finishing off a very fair goal. But what about Jeff Pike's goal? Was there an element of offside about it? I think the referee felt there might have been, but he told me afterwards that he felt that nobody was interfering with play. Here's Neighbour bringing the ball inside. Lovely ball into the path there of Jeff Pike. And as he hits it, is Paul Goddard level with the last defender there? It certainly looks as though it may have been, but the referee said the player was not interfering, although he may have been in line with the goalkeeper there. An element of doubt, except, of course, that it was a really beautiful goal. Let's start with West Ham against Middlesbrough. And it was a day that started with some anxiety for West Ham. Trevor Brooking had jarred a knee in a midweek League Cup tie against Derby. But after a morning of fitness tests had gone well and Trevor had had the last bit of treatment with an ice bag on his injured knee, well, it was decided that he was fit enough to play. So it was then that he pulled on West Ham's number 10 shirt.
So Trevor Brooking takes his place in a West Ham side that's not registered to win in their last 5 league games. There's no cause for alarm, though. They have, after all, drawn 4 of those. Paul Allen, who was standing by to take Brooking's place, is the substitute. Middlesbrough, well, the big problem there this season has been scoring goals. They give another chance to Billy Wolf up front. Bobby Thompson, who was sent off at Plymouth in the League Cup in midweek, he plays. His suspension comes up the week after next. He's in midfield, along with Heine Otto, a Dutchman who was signed from Twente Enschede. Now Neighbour, finding Lampard. Oh, and it's a mistake there that lets Neighbour in, across the face of the goal, and McAndrew, the Middlesbrough captain, made a terrible mistake there, and Neighbour really should have punished it more severely. Here's McAndrew's mistake, failed to get anywhere near controlling that ball. Here's Neighbour as Platt came plunging out beyond the far post. Billy Wolf goes back into central position. It's Hodgson. Wolf is there, Lampard with a head, Wolf again. Thompson was coming in there, and West Ham having trouble getting it away. And it was staved in the end by the legs of Parks, and they're not away yet. It was a back pass that almost cost West Ham a goal. And the crowd are buzzing at that as they just can't imagine how Middlesbrough failed to score there. And here's Otto now. And maybe that scare will teach West Ham a lesson early in this game. Lampard finding Brooking. Touch and go effort there, and Parks' legs saving the day for West Ham. Devonshire, and his determination, found the ball again and found Goddard. Crossed in by Lampard towards Cross, and it wasn't. Oh, Neighbour's right in there. 1-0 for West Ham. Jimmy Neighbour. First of the season for Jimmy, and came steaming in there and caught them unawares. A sharp angle, but true into the far corner. Struggling to keep possession there, but did so well enough. Felt his knee a bit gingerly, I noticed then when he fell. Devonshire, Goddard. Devonshire again. Looking for a yard, might have to work for it. Flicks it in there to Cross, back it comes again for Goddard. Ah, and an own goal by Angus, I think. Well, it's number 2 for West Ham. Goddard was right in there, knocked down nicely by Cross. And as you see, it's an own goal. Cut out by Devonshire. How well he did it. Goddard. And a nice flick on by Goddard. Devonshire continued his run. He's got Cross waiting in the middle. Brooking's in there too. And a penalty. Smile of resignation on the face of Irving Nattrass. It turns to something that wasn't quite a smile. But Devonshire turning around there. Cochrane caught him there. Nattrass caught him there. And now Ray Stewart with the ball on the spot. Stewart scored 3 times this season, each of them from the penalty spot, now with a chance to make it 3-0 to West Ham. And who really likes to blast them. And he's done it again, 3-0. Hodgson getting to the byline, getting well, can look up and choose his spot almost, except that Stewart was there to head it away and find Neighbour. Oh, what a bad back pass, and Billy Wolf has made it 3-1. Jimmy Neighbour, with his head in his hands, knows that it was his mistake. Well, he scored the first goal here, and it was a strange back pass, to say the least. Straight for Billy Wolf. And there wasn't much Phil Parkes could do about it. And Billy Wolf gets a goal for Middlesbrough. Devonshire picking his way superbly now. And a shot. He might get in there again. He's hit the post. Well, if anybody deserved a goal this afternoon, it's this fellow, Alan Devonshire. What a magnificent run, and applause all around the ground for it. A terrific run and a great shot that was parried by the keeper. Devonshire continued on his way after Platt had parried it. And a real piece of bad luck as the ball cannons off the post. There's Thompson for them. Heading again towards Cochrane. And that surely is a penalty, yes. I don't think West Ham could argue about that. The second penalty of the game, and Cochrane going right in there. And Trevor Brooking going across to have a word with the referee. But as you can see, Brooking was in fact leaning into the man. And penalty gives Middlesbrough a chance to get back to 3-2. Thompson with it. 3-2.
Well, it turned out to be quite a good finish, although John Lyall, the West Ham manager, was a little concerned that his side had allowed the game to slip so far. Incidentally, the news about Trevor Brooking is good. No real ill effects to that injured knee, and let's hope it stays that way with a hungry game coming up in a little over a couple of weeks. Now, we showed you earlier on a young Irish boy enjoying the game, and indeed a glimpse of him in the West Ham dressing room before the start. He was taken there by West Ham's John Lyall. He's 14-year-old Martin Robinson from Portadown in Northern Ireland, who was knocked down by a lorry on his way to school last January, and he was in a coma for a month. Now, his great love was and is West Ham. So Ulster Television asked John Lyall if he would record a tape to be played to young Martin to bring him out of his coma. And indeed it worked. So this is his first visit to Upton Park.
Let's just sec. Can I just introduce young Martin? I think you're aware of him. He had an accident in January and he was unconscious for a while, and a West Ham supporter, and the tape we sent him helped him come round, and he'd just like to meet you, and he's on a nice weekend and I think he's going to enjoy himself. I'll introduce you, have a little talk to him and say what you want, because they're only human like you, all right? David Cross. Oh, Martin. All right.
Martin Birmingham, combinative.
What, my one?
I
thought I was going to score though, didn't you?
Oh, I said David Cross.
Did you?
Just forward.
Yeah, I didn't do that, did I?
No.
We're going to score today?
Yeah.
How many?
2.
2? He's predicted a 2-0 win today, lads, so make sure it's right.
No.
Trevor Brooking? Hello, Martin. I think he's your favourite, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What do you like about it? What do you think he does well when he plays?
Not scoring goals.
I go you scored the last international was
Yes,
there.
the Hungary one, yes. Hope lightning strikes again later this month, Martin. You watch all the games, do you, on TV?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's hope you bring us luck today.
Proving yet again that football has got a heart, and our thanks indeed to West Ham and to John Lyall for making young Martin's day one that I'm sure he's going to treasure for the rest of his life. Welcome again to the big match. Tonight, a great match as our main feature. It's West Ham United against the First Division leaders, Manchester United. Close to a full house at Upton Park, just under 32,000. And out of sight of all those fans, a touching little ceremony. West Ham pride themselves on their loyalty and continuity, and that goes even down to the boot room. And it was there today that Jack Leslie put out the West Ham boots for the last time. Jack retires today at the age of 80. He's a former professional footballer himself. He played for Plymouth Argyle as far back as 1920. He's very popular with the players and with manager John Lyall as well.
Yeah, you'll be grafted, mate.
Yeah. I suppose you know we're all very grateful, and we've enjoyed it, and it's been marvellous to have you.
Yeah,
I'm sure the lads would echo that. It's been a great career, and you know we'll look back on a lot of happy memories, and that's the important thing. If you'd like to go now and get our boots out, we can have a game. Right. All right? We won't mind. You've had your glory. Go and get them boots out, pal. 1 pair for each player.
Well, let's take a check on the two teams, and for West Ham, the only doubt concerned midfield player Jeff Pike, who went off injured during the thrilling victory over Stoke in the Milk Cup on Tuesday. But he passed a test on his injured knee today, so with the notable exception of Trevor Brooking, West Ham can be said to be at full strength. Troubles, though, for Manchester United, with Ray Wilkins out with a fractured cheekbone, and then a dilemma today for manager Ron Atkinson. Both his central defenders, Kevin Moran and Gordon McQueen, had to have tests, but both passed them this morning. But then he felt that he couldn't really risk both of them playing today, and with a man like Martin Buchan standing by, well, Martin gets his chance, and it's Gordon McQueen who is left out. Lampard with the throw. Quarter of an hour, no score, but here's Clark. Van der Elst has sneaked in on the far side. Oh, Goddard's there as well. Tries something on the turn. Van der Elst gets it back to Pike. Pushed away by Bailey. But they very nearly made something out of nothing there, West Ham. Clark played his part. Goddard tried to turn. That was a nice ball played back by Van der Elst and superbly struck by Pike. Turned away by keeper Gary Bailey. Stewart in, Pike, Van der Elst. Clark, Goddard, looking to get the finishing touch, and does so! So Paul Goddard scores. Gary Bailey, I fancy, wouldn't be all that happy with it. And West Ham's persistence pays off. A nice touch there by Sandy Clark. Goddard taking it well, nice little bit of headwork, and under the falling body of Bailey to put West Ham into the lead. Muren again. Popple operating down that left flank. Oh, my goodness, against the crossbar, and West Ham was so lucky there, and Popple so dreadfully unlucky. Wasn't sure whether he meant that as a cross in the first place. Don't know whether he did, but if you give him the benefit of the doubt, that was always angling away from Phil Parkes, and it just came off the crossbar. Goddard, Clark battling with Moran, just stuck out the foot, and found Alan Devonshire, who's got support from behind from Lampard. Inside is Goddard. Oh, a lovely ball played by Goddard for Devonshire. Must be number 2. No, it was knocked away at the end by Arnold Muren. What a nice touch there. What a beautiful touch that was by Goddard. And Devonshire coming in, and in the end, Muren just got in. Allen. Beautifully flighted ball over Muren, and Bonds playing it in for Van der Elst. In turn, getting it through to Goddard, and Clark is in there. Handball, was it? Yes, and a penalty given. A real raking move there by West Ham. Applause by Sandy Clark for the decision given. Bonds playing it in. Van der Elst played his part there, and then it became pin table stuff. And somewhere there was a claim for the handball there, presumably by Ashley Grimes. So Stewart against Bailey. And it's 2-0. The customary bang from Ray Stewart from the penalty spot. And the customary result as well. 4 out of 4. And putting West Ham 2-0 into the lead. Grimes. And now Robson. Well, it will be a great moment for United to get one back. No penalty given there. The referee had a good long hard look at it, I must say. Decided that there was no foul, and Grimes Grimes obviously protested far too much, and Grimes will go into the ball. Well, this was the penalty that United claimed. There was a shove maybe outside the box, and he sent Ashley Grimes off. Well, that's sensational. Steve Coppell's having a word with the referee about it. Well, in the first place, it appeared that he was booking him for something he said and arguing about the penalty not being given. Now, whether he continued to argue and that was the reason Dennis Hedges took that action, I don't know. But Ashley Grimes sent off, and Ron Atkinson's team a man down and 2 goals down. Foul by Billy Bonds on Stapleton. Stapleton, now Whiteside. Oh my goodness, how that didn't get swept in by either Stapleton. Well, who was it? Moran going in as well. Stapleton's header down, Whiteside banged it in there, Stapleton and Moran both diving in, but it was wide and a goal kick. Clark somehow getting it down for Pike. Goddard just trying to get in there. Pike might go all the way and makes it 3. Jeff Pike. Well, he rode his luck well, and I suppose couldn't believe it in the end when suddenly the ball's at his feet and Bailey was spread before him. Again, he goes round Bailey and tucks it into the back of the net. Touchdown nicely there by Whiteside. And Bonds under a bit of pressure. It's not away yet there. Buren putting it into space there. And Whiteside's goal is disallowed. He must have been offside as he thrashed that ball past Phil Parkes. Looks certainly there to be, yes, in an offside position. Linesman right. Oh, I don't know, there was Lampard coming in, but the linesman obviously felt that it was offside. Buren with it. Deep one there. Koppel trying to turn it back. And a goal by Kevin Moore. Well, it's got to be no more than a consolation right at the end there for Manchester United, but he scored in this game last year and he's done it again now. Following the corner. A little bit of play here and good play there by Koppel, well controlled by the big defender and giving Parkes no chance to get United on the score sheet.
Well, it was a fine game and it knocks Manchester United off the top of the table. Liverpool go back, familiar ground for them, to the top after beating Brighton 3-1. West Ham move up to second, with Manchester United now third, all of them with 22 points, followed by West Brom, Spurs and Manchester City. Well, it was a bad day for Manchester United and not least for Ashley Grimes. But what about that sending off? Well, the referee, Dennis Hedges, told us later that he sent Grimes off for violent conduct, and Grimes, it seems, just flicked the back of the referee's head with his hand. Of course, there could hardly be a more serious offence than striking a referee, but the FA will have to decide just how serious this particular incident is. But Ashley Grimes, I fear, could be in real trouble. And indeed, as we look at it again, just follow the path of the referee as Robson goes in. And there are claims there for the penalty. Look at the referee. United begin to remonstrate. Watch the number 4 now. Ashley Grimes coming to the picture. He just catches the referee there. Well, you shouldn't do that to a referee, that's for sure. And Dennis Hedges reacts very strongly and very quickly. But Steve Coppell, who is also the chairman of the PFA, had this to say.
Well, I didn't see the incident myself, but I asked the referee why he was sent off. And he said to me that he'd hit him on the back of the head. But,
really?
Yes, that's what he said to me. I couldn't imagine anybody hitting the referee in front of 30,000 people.
I think officials players, managers are all concerned about it because we know it's going through that difficult stage. But as long as we all maintain our beliefs and understand each other's problems, then it'll work itself out. It always does. Only we tend to panic and talk about that as we're doing now. We're talking more about these areas than we are about a marvellous game of football today. And I think that's more important than anything. Certainly there'll always be bad decisions and bad judgments in football from players and officials. But the game is still great, and that was marvellous entertainment today, and that's more important than anything.
Well, the day at Upton Park certainly ended on a touching note. We saw 80-year-old Jack Leslie laying out the Hammers' boots for the last time at the start of the programme. Well, at the end of the day, the players presented him with a farewell card. They had a pretty healthy whip round for him as well, so there are plenty of happy memories for Jack to take into retirement.